Alright, God, I fucking feel weird wearing this shirt because I've been fired from FedEx 3 times. But that, but that's all my fault. Um, I want to talk about the, the politics in our building because I love to tell stories. So, I've already explained a lot of this, but just let's just put it all in like one fucking thing. Uh, so, when I first showed up there, and keep in mind it was FedEx Express where I was a driver. I got fired from there. So I moved on. I went to UPS for 7 months. That was a fucking nightmare. I don't even want to get into it. That was just an absolute shit show. Um, and I was crying over like, oh, I lost my job at FedEx. I go to FedEx Ground um, because previously it was FedEx Express uh, when I was driving. FedEx Ground worked in the warehouse. It was really nice. It was a great work environment. Everybody got along. It was just, and that ice machine, I swear to God, if I ever come into contact with that ice machine again, I am gonna make fucking Italian ice babies with that thing. I would go there like 15 times a night, 10-hour shift. Would go there like 15 times a night and I'd just be eating ice. I'd be rubbing it all over my body and shit. Like, oh man, it's 100 degrees in this place. Like, I loved every fucking minute of this past year that I worked for FedEx. So when I originally went there, things were a little different. There was different management. I don't really want to get into that whole story. Uh, Eventually, I was fired for like a couple of write-ups. Um, then they changed the cigarette policy, um, and because of COVID, it was very easy to. That's the one thing I'm thankful for. Otherwise, COVID can fuck off. But because they needed workers and people were leaving because they didn't want to get sick, and we're working in a dirty ass fucking warehouse, I went back there and they took me. And I remember going in and one of my old managers was still there. I go, "You're still here?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I'm still here." I go, "Oh, wow, all right." It only been keep in mind it only been like a about about 6 months, 6 7 months until I ended up going back after I got fired. They're very forgiving. It's a good company to work for. So don't let any of this. This was just our situation. This isn't like how FedEx is. We made it this way, and that's like the whole point of this story. Um, so they have a very strict no smoking policy. Like you don't go out for a cigarette break in, and that makes sense because you're working on a line, and the packages are just coming down, and like if somebody leaves the belt, then what the somebody else has to carry their weight. So what he did, my old manager, he took me. He's like, "No, you're going on my belt." So I was back on belt three, where I was before, where I worked my way up to, because you start on like belt one or belt five because they're the easiest. It's the layout of the building and the way that the packages come down. Belt three is right under, it's like directly under the tower, and he knew that I already knew what I was doing, so he was like, "Yeah, you just go to belt three." So I go over there, and Russ is in his usual spot, where he's always been, and it's like a time capsule. It's funny, like if you go back, oh wow, you're like literally in the same spot that you were, because they move people around all the time. So anyway, I go back there. Russ is there, Mikey's there, and he when I got fired, he had just become a trainer. Normally he would have worked like in the unload with boss bitch back there, who was actually a sweet person. I'm just she's a dyke, so she's kind of she's kind of tough, but uh, beautiful woman though, great person. But he used to work back there, and he was like one of her main people. There, every manager has their roster of like people. So he was one of the good ones, and he ended up working alongside Russ, which is absolutely horrible. And I didn't contribute anything better to that because I'm a fucking alcoholic. I made this joke with Mikey one day because he never used to work the van lines, but he'd tell me how to do my job, and I'd be like, Mikey, I've been doing this longer than you have. Just because I came back and I'm not new. Everybody in this building knows who I am. I I don't know. He was a character. I missed the kid, and he got into a serious injury where he cut his Achilles tendon. I hope he's not dead. I hope he can walk somehow. That sucks. Like I feel for the kid, and yeah, so um, we're all working there. I'm like sneaking some nip. Like it's 100 degrees. It's the middle of the summer, you know, and I'm wearing a Carhartt sweatshirt because it has a pocket. So I put, hemp seed oil, Dr. Paul's, little Dr. Paul's in there, 30,000 milligram. I have like anything in there, like candy, lozenges, morphine, whatever up to like anything up to like weed. I wouldn't bring weed into the building, but I keep that in my car. And I don't even want to be high when I'm working, so there's no reason for that. Um, all of it was just to like relieve pain. And I have my trusty Aleve because Tylenol and Advil are a fucking joke. So Aleve is a whole different. That's naproxen. That's a whole different. It's stronger than acetaminophen or cinnamon, acetaminophen, something like that. Acetaminophen. Um, it's like he'd be giving me trash like all day, and you know we like over the course of that year, by the time I left, the place was a fucking nightmare. We were like, I was getting people to transfer from other stations to come over and people would come to help us out because we were low staffed. I'd be like, hey, you can get more hours here. Why don't you transfer here? You know, and schmooze with people a little bit. You'd be like, oh fuck yeah, all right. Oh, you're getting like 35 hours. I'm only getting like 20. And yeah, come on, transfer over here. You can transfer. You've been here for a year. You can transfer. And they did it. And management was not happy about that. They were not happy about that move on my part, uh, because a lot of the people who came over from Billerica were like just as badass as we were. So they didn't want. They're trying to get less people like that in the building, and we were solid. Like I was done with it. At the pain in my back, the I like nah, I can't. I gotta find something else I can do that I'm. Anyway, we had like a shitload of people on one and two, like two different belts out of six that were just either alcoholics, hardcore drug addicts, drug dealers. Like we had this kid. There was a referral program. This kid Dennis comes in, and he brings in his entire fucking family. Like he brings in like 17 people, and they're like, how much money did he make off of that? And what I'm saying is like we basically as a group, it started with us, like me, Mikey, and Russ, the Three Stooges. The three of us basically rewrote the entire fucking code of conduct for that building. Like not for the company, but for that building. Like management were afraid of us. They didn't know what the fuck to do with us. Um, Obviously, if we needed to be written up or something, they would take that action, and that makes sense. That's what they're supposed to do. I respect that. You're just doing your job. But there have been times that when you like one of the managers, I said to him, I was trying to like sneak out for a cigarette, and this was before the cigarette policy changed to the point where, like, yeah, just if you're gonna have a cigarette, just go out for a cigarette or something. Because we all talk to each other and figure out like who's gonna cover who, and we take turns. That's why we were all on the same belt, because they knew that we all smoked, so it would make more sense to. Um, there was one time I was trying to sneak out. I don't like, even if they don't care, I don't like anybody to see me sneaking up. I tell the people on the belt, but I don't like to like be seen by a manager like opening the exit door and go like, we're mid shift. What are you doing? I don't like that. I like to be like incognito if I can be. Anyway, so he sees me and he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Well, to be honest with you, I was gonna go have a cigarette." He goes, "Well, I'm walking this way," so and he just walked away. That was like the coolest thing because it was such a struggle before. I don't like to talk about the first time I was at FedEx Ground really too much, but there's one focal point that like just that's why I got fired. The cigarette thing, like, I don't know if somebody in Allison's life died of cancer or what. I don't know what her fucking vendetta about people smoking is, but anyway, um, I was out there one day and I was smoking a cigarette, and then she walked by and she goes, "Oh, are we done?" And I go, "No, we're close to being done. We're not done yet though. I'm just having a cigarette." And every other time it would have worked out perfectly. But it just so happened that when she walked back in, the person who I was working with, I forget who I was even working with at that time, um, they couldn't, like, they smoked too, so we would take turns. They couldn't keep up with the packages, so the packages were spilling with the belt. Every other time it would have worked out perfectly. But this one fucking time, I don't know, because she knew where I worked in the building, even though she was like corporate. She's not really on like a personal level with any of us. Um, she went over to our belt and saw packages spilling off. So then she had an excuse to be like, "Oh wow, okay, you really fucked up, John." So she wrote me up for that. That was the last nail in the coffin. I got fired for that. Um, then I came back, and my old manager was like, "Oh yeah, you'll be happy to know that Allison is gone. She's no longer with us." And I didn't even ask any questions. I knew she transferred to it. They put her in another station because they needed her there. That's how corporate fucks with you. Um, my brother could tell you. But I just when he said that, I took that as like, oh, she passed away. That's too bad. Me and Russ were in agreement that you could never like. I love women. I do. I absolutely love women. I love hanging out with women. I don't care about dating women. I love hanging out with women. They're more fun than men. No offense, but this woman had. We've never hated a woman like that. You could hate somebody for being a piece of shit or being a piece of trash or something, or maybe they don't get along with anybody or whatever. She never hated a woman like that. I've never hated my mother like that. And yeah, there's plenty of history to review in these videos about that. But Jesus Christ, like, talk about a fucking bitch. I never like. There's never been a better use for the word, like bitch or cunt or foot. Like that is exactly what she was. She was. She was not a nice person. Let's put it that way. Um, yeah, so that happened. But anyway, we when I came back and she was gone, and we had new management. We basically, I mean, the new GM fucking smoked cigarettes. So how the fuck are you gonna tell any of us that we can't have a cigarette break? You know what I mean? When you're sitting in the office with your feet up all day. Like, he didn't do much. and, this, and this girl Christina, when he first came in, we were all, because like news gets around quickly, like real quick. When we found out he was coming in one day, we're all on the belt. We got Dennis's sister Vula, or sister-in-law Vula, up at the top, and she was great. She would always she'd bring a bag of snacks, like just the little individual bags, just send them down the belt. You know, all snacks, like that was fucking cool. And then we had Avery up there. He was a fucking badass. He was a businessman. He's going to school. He's not doing this his entire life, but he knew what he was doing. And we had Mikey and Russ, and then we had me and whoever the fuck they decided to put. Like, I was basically responsible for two people because they would just switch it up every day. It was at the end of the belt. Anyway, this girl Christina was QA, quality assurance. So she they had one person for each belt, so she was on our belt because she and Russ were dating. And um, the new manager walks in and he walks by, he nods to us. How's it going? He's looking around the building, seeing, shaping the place out. And she, she said something to the effect. She said something like about Legos. Like, it looks like he plays with Legos, or something, like, because he looked young and he was short. And that was just fucking hilarious. Why every time I make a video does my fucking, yeah. Anyway, we fucking destroyed that place. We absolutely fucking annihilated that. Just as far as any man, he's trying to keep up the rules, and you can see on his face every fucking day that he's just like, yeah, I lost. I, the inmates are running the asylum. That's it. You can see it on his face every fucking day, and I know that's why he has a personal vendetta with me, and I'm having trouble getting my paychecks because I was one of the people, uh, you know, who made that happen. If you put a crack addict, a heroin addict, an alcoholic, somebody who sells benzos and weed on site, um, someone who doesn't give a fuck at all about anything, someone who's snorting cocaine in the bed. If you put all these people on one belt in the building, we're, we're gonna run the fucking building. You can't say no to everybody. It's kind of like how my neighbor was saying a while ago. I was talking to him earlier outside. He's like, if everybody thinks you're an asshole, then and like there's one person who tells you that you're not an asshole, you're probably an asshole. That's just one person standing up for you. Like, so to the same effect, you can't tell like 12 people who do not give a fuck at all what you have to say that they're wrong and that you're gonna fire them. That's how that worked. We had like the perfect. We had everything. And then Mikey cut his Achilles tendon open. He left. They fired Louise for having a cigarette because they saw a little snake in there where they could. Oh, well, we can get rid of her because she hasn't worked here for a long time and nobody knows her. Well, I knew her and I was pissed, and so that's just another thing. That's another nail in the coffin. Nah, why am I here? One good thing happened. One good thing happened to Johnny Boy, and no, you know, joke's on you. I have her number. I call her once in a while. It's just fucking. I don't know. So much history there. I'll do another video. I'll do another video on put on some FedEx gear, like just even though I'm gonna take this off in like 2 minutes when I'm done with this, and put something else on, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just walk outside naked. Um, but yeah, I might do another video on like just FedEx Express, because I don't think I really have. This is my problem. I'm like I don't agree. I don't like I don't condone the idea of um, people like the DSM, like people talking about mental illnesses, and they just come up with a DSM every fucking year, and it's just got more shit in it. Oh, this person's addicted to shopping; they're mentally ill. No, I don't fuck around with that. It's not my shit. But I do have like like I just talk to myself. This is why I make these videos because at least it makes a little more sense. Otherwise, I'm just like lying in bed talking out loud, or I'm thinking, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, my hair, and I'm like thinking, but I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. It it makes me feel like I'm choking, like as I'm not talking out loud because I live with other people. So I only do this when like nobody's home. When people are home, then I'm like talking to myself without actually uttering anything out of my mouth. Like I'm making the movements in my throat and my mouth, but I'm not like it's weird. I don't know why that's the fact that I can analyze it says a lot. So there's that, but it does bother me. It like bothers my throat, and I don't know why I do it. It's because I can't stop thinking, and I want to talk. I want to project my voice, but I can't do that because my parents would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Who are you talking to?" Chris, they do that bad enough when I'm like on video chat with a few people. Who are you talking to in there? Talking to people on video chat. I don't know. It's like Skype or whatever the fuck you guys use. I don't know. Same fucking thing. It's not really. It's not really new age, or it's not really like a, a new thing. I don't fucking know. I do miss FedEx, but at the same time, I don't. And I might go back, maybe. But it's like glory days. I was never on a football team. I I never had that pride. Uh, and as bad as like this whole story sounds about like, yeah, like that's all kind of criminal what you guys were like doing. I don't fucking know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to make you. I don't know how to cheer you up. Uh, that's what happened there. My father could tell you stories that when he used to work construction, horrible shit. Fucking four guys show up in a car, trashed. Like, oh, we just had our last beer. Can you take care of us, Joey? And my father's standing there like, are you really? What the fuck? I mean, that's a whole different like line of work. Yeah, there'd be days like Mikey would come in and he'd be on like 8 Xanax, and then like Russ would come in and he'd be on like some heroin and like 8 morphine, and they'd both be like this, and Mikey would be like, "Yeah, John, we're a little under the weather today. Can you take care of us? Can you look out for us?" Be like, "Yeah, I'll do my best, but I'm not 3 people." What do you want me to? They took advantage of that because there were hundreds of times that there were things nobody asked me to do that I would just do because I fucking felt like doing. But then, I have my days too where like I just want to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like, oh, John's the fall guy. No, not really. No, I can go rat you out right now. But but no, it's not how it worked. We're like a family. We just like we had our own habits. Joke around about stuff. And I remember one time I asked Mikey and Russ, so when you guys do heroin, do you slam it or do you smoke it? Because like Led Zeppelin used to smoke heroin. I don't know. People smoke heroin. You can smoke it. I don't know. I was curious. I was like, and they laughed their asses off at me. They were, and this is where we cross that bridge of like all right, we're all on the same page here. Because they go, if you smoke it, you'd probably get fucked up because you don't do heroin all the time. No, we need to slam it. So I was like, this is where this joke comes from. I was like, so if it's like if somebody handed me a beer and I'd be holding it and be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? What is this going to do for me? I don't know. We crossed that bridge that day. We're all on the same page. Like, all right, yeah, we're all fucked up all the time. Keith would be smoking weed in his truck on break. You just go take a few tokes on break. Vula would come in like probably hungover, if I had to imagine. She was a drinker too, but she did not like me. She was a party girl. And like Avery would come in like just sober as a fucking like straight as an arrow. Like, but he didn't care. It's like he dealt with us. He didn't care. That's why certain like work relationships, with all this like Black Lives Matter shit going on, you could tell he might have not supported them, but he was like he was woke, I guess, like in a certain way. He knew what was in the till, but he sort of kept to himself. He didn't cause trouble. He didn't like bother anybody about whatever his beliefs might be. He didn't like to have those conversations. He just wanted to come in and do his job, and he was a great guy. And so like with him, like with Russ or Mikey or somebody, or even Bula, I'd be like, what? What the fuck? But like with Avery, it's like, oh man, you missed a package. I got it for you. Push back up the belt. Low key friendship. Everybody else in that building, like I do the same thing for Mary because I know she's an alcoholic and she's so fucking. It's all these good cast of characters in this fucking building, seriously. But you know, somebody like Russ, he's like 3 times my size. And one time he asked me to borrow $60 because I gave Mikey $20 because I knew what he needed it for. And all right, I've worked with you for years. And I'm saying $20 is nothing to me. $60, you're starting to ask a little bit for like working class people. $20 is like, I don't care if I see it again. And of course, I didn't see it again because he's a drug addict. But I told him like, so okay, what happens if I lend you $60 and you don't pay it back? What the fuck am I? You're 3 times my size. What the fuck am I supposed to do about it? But tell the police? Yeah, they'll do a whole lot about it. Yeah. I was like, I'll give you $20. I don't like towards whatever you said. He had to pay for something. He was probably just buying drugs. But I love the guy, but he was probably just buying drugs, and he didn't know how to ask me for drug money. Nobody does. They know I'm not going to give it to him really, for the most part. Um, it's like 10, $20. Okay, but it's not happening again. It's like this one time I gave this meth addict a ride to this sketchy ass fucking junkyard. And he's like, oh yeah, this guy owes me money. I'm like, oh okay. He's got a backpack on him. And yeah, okay, yeah, some guy owes you money. Yeah, because what did you, who the, like you wouldn't understand because you don't know the kid, but like, who the fuck would owe you money? But I did the decent thing and gave him a ride. Okay, and he got his drugs. And then he comes back the next day and he's like knocking on the door. I'm like, all right, right now, right? You just fucking alarms going off. I live with my parents. I did you a favor. I'm not gonna do this every fucking day. I'm not. I don't care what drugs you're doing or what the fuck I drove you to get. I'm not doing this every day. That's not who I am. I'll do somebody a favor no matter what the fuck it like. You gotta get drugs. You gotta whatever. I'll do somebody a favor, but I'm not fucking. You can't just come knocking on my door every fucking day. Like, oh yeah, I need a ride again to get. No. If it's a one-time thing, it's a one-time thing. It's like my neighbor's friend said, Big Mike over there. He goes, yeah, you taking morphine? I was like, I just have morphine in case I need it. It's like a weekend thing. It's like some weekend shit. He goes, it always starts with some weekend shit. I was like, I know that, and Russ even told me, don't get into this. So I'm not into it. I was for like a week. I was taking it like every 2 days, but I just have it in case. That's what I do. I'm like a rat in the walls. Like I do. I'm just grabbing my shit just so that it's the same with weed. Like I don't smoke weed every single day. I have weed. If I feel like smoking, I'll smoke some weed. Things that matter are booze and cigarettes. Uh, I need to have those. If I don't have those, I am fucked. Oh, let's try. Alright, let's check this out. Let's check out the 99 brand apples. 99 proof. I should just cut this off. There we go. Boom. My fingernails are gross, I know. I'm a working class man. Yeah, let's check this out. It's not bad. I don't even like apple. But yeah, so the whole fucking point of this was that just I've had this on my mind because whenever you leave somewhere or whenever you throw something behind, you have to process it somehow. It happens. It's not really up to you. Like it might not happen tomorrow, but eventually you start processing things, and that's just amazing to me that we reformed the entire fucking we just ripped out the fucking rule book and we were like, nah, we're doing everything our way because we do good work. We work harder than most of the people in this building, so we're gonna do whatever the fuck we need to do to get through the day. And that to me is this past year working at FedEx in any capacity throughout my life. Those are my glory days. All right, because I didn't get to be on the fucking football team, but I got to be an athlete, an industrial athlete, and I'm proud of myself for that. I am. That's really the only thing I can be proud of at all. So it matters to me.